Captain Jake stood in front of the big window on his ship and looked down at the planet below. The planet was cold. It was spinning slowly in the dark space, and it looked like it was dying. The ship was named the Discovery. It was a human research ship, made to explore new worlds and find new life. Jake had been the captain for 5 years now, and he had seen many things in space. He had seen beautiful planets with green forests. He had seen planets made of ice and fire, but he had never seen a planet that looked as sad as looked now. Was covered with clouds. Through the clouds, Jake could see the outline of cities. The cities had been built in neat lines and patterns. They showed that the people who built them were smart and organized. But now those cities were quiet and empty. Very few lights came from them at night. Lieutenant David came and stood next to Jake. David worked at the science station on the ship. He held a small computer in his hand. His face looked very serious and troubled. "Captain, I have finished reading all the data," David said. "The situation on the planet is very bad. The plague is getting worse every day. More people die every hour." Jake did not look away from the window. "How many people are we talking about?" he asked. "The population was around 3,200,000,000 about 6 months ago," David said quietly. "Now it is down to 2,400,000,000. That means the sickness is killing approximately 40,000 people every single day." Jake closed his eyes for a moment. 40,000 people. That was like losing an entire city every day. He thought about the city where he grew up. There were about 30,000 people in his home city. So every day multiple cities of people just disappeared into death. "Have we received any response from the council yet?" Jake asked. He already knew the answer, but he wanted to hear it from David anyway. "Yes, sir. I got a message from the Galactic Council about 1 hour ago," David said. He touched his computer, and words appeared in the air in front of them. The words were official and cold. They said that they were too young as a species. They said they did not have advanced technology. They said that helping them would be against the protocols that the Council had made a long time ago. The message said something else too. It said that if the older, more advanced species helped the younger species every time something bad happened, then the younger species would never learn to solve their own problems. It said that learning to survive on their own was important for all species. Jake had heard these words before. He had studied these protocols when he was at the academy. He understood the reason behind them, but understanding something and thinking it was right were two very different things. Commander Wells came into the window room. Was Jake's second officer. She was very smart and very careful about following rules. Her dark hair was pulled back tight and her face looked very worried. "Captain, I have more information," said. She stood on the other side of Jake, so now Jake had both of his officers standing with him and looking down at the dying planet. "Tell me," Jake said. "I made contact with the government. They know they are dying. They know the council has abandoned them. The leaders have decided to accept their fate. They say they do not want help from outsiders. They say they want their civilization to end with honor." Jake felt something hard grow inside his chest. "They have given up," he said. "Yes, sir, they have given up," agreed. "The council said we should not interfere. The council said we should keep watching but not touching. Those are the rules, Captain. Those are the rules we all agreed to follow." Jake turned away from the window. He looked at David. "What are the rules that say we have to watch people die and do nothing?" Did not answer. She looked uncomfortable. Dr. Henry Park came running into the room. Henry was the doctor on the ship, and he was very good at his work. He always cared about sick people, even aliens who he had never met before. "Captain, I have been studying the data from the planet below," Henry said. He was out of breath from running. "I think I can help them. The sickness is caused by bacteria and fungus. I have studied bacteria and fungus on many planets. I know how to fight them." "What would you need?" Jake asked. "The basics," Henry said. Some antibiotics from our supply. They have doctors too, I think. If I can teach their doctors how to use the medicine, maybe we can slow down the sickness. Maybe we can save some of them." "The council would never allow that," said. "We have direct orders to observe but not to interfere. We could lose our positions. We could be arrested when we get back home." Jake looked at each of his officers. He looked at who believed in rules and safety. He looked at David, who was smart but very young. He looked at Henry, who only wanted to help people who were suffering. Below them, the planet continued to spin. Every moment that they stood here talking, more people died. Every moment that they did nothing, more cities became silent. Jake made a choice. "Henry, prepare the medical supplies from our storage. You have the bridge. David, monitor all communications. I am going down to the planet." "Captain, no," said. She reached out toward him. "You cannot do this. This is against orders. This is against protocol." "I know what the orders say," Jake replied. "I know the protocols. But I also know that right now on that planet 40,000 people are going to die today, and we have medicine that could save some of them. So I have to go. If the council wants to arrest me when I get back, then they can do that. But I cannot stand here and watch this." Jake walked toward the door that would take him to the shuttle bay. "If you go down there without proper protection, the plague could kill you too," Henry called out. Jake turned back one more time. "Then I guess you better make sure I have good protection, Doctor." And with that, Captain Jake left the window room, leaving his shocked officers standing in the quiet light that came from the dying planet below. Outside, in the darkness of space, the Discovery moved slowly toward. Jake had made a decision that would change everything. He had decided that saving lives was more important than following rules. He had decided that one person, acting with courage and hope, could make a difference in a cold and uncaring galaxy. Everything after this moment would be different. The shuttle came down through the clouds of. Jake was inside the shuttle. He wore a protective suit that covered his entire body. The suit was made of special material that could protect him from sickness and from dangerous things in the air. The shuttle touched the ground gently. Jake could see the city around him through the window. The city looked like it had once been beautiful. The buildings were tall and made of smooth white stone. The streets were wide and clean. But now the city felt empty and cold. Very few people were moving in the streets. Those who did move looked very sick. Jake opened the door of the shuttle and stepped outside onto the ground. The air felt different from the air on Earth. It was colder and thinner. His suit made a soft sound as he moved. The suit would keep him safe while he was here. A figure appeared from the largest building in the city. The figure was very tall, almost 7 feet high. Its skin was colored in shades of blue, and that changed when the light hit it in different ways. The figure had large eyes that looked like they were filled with light from inside. This was one of the aliens that humanity had decided to leave to die. They walked slowly toward Jake. The movements were careful, like someone who was very tired or very sick. "I am Keeper," they said. The words came out in English, though the sounds were strange and not quite the way a human would say them. "You come from the stars. You come from the Council of Older Worlds." Jake could hear sadness in this voice. Keeper probably thought that Jake was here to make something official. Maybe Keeper thought Jake was here to tell them that they were going to die, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. "My name is Jake," Jake said carefully. "I am from a human world, but I am not sent by the Council. I am here because your people are sick, and the Council said they would not help. But I can help, or at least I can try to help you." Keeper's entire blue body went very still. The large eyes became even brighter. "The Council made their decision," Keeper said. "We have decided to accept our fate. We have decided that we will face the end with honor and peace in our hearts." "But what if you don't have to face the end?" Jake asked. "What if I can give you something that will stop the sickness? What if your people can live?" Keeper moved closer to Jake. Why would you do this? You do not know us. Your people do not know us. The council says we are too young and too weak to be worth saving. Why do you not think this way too? Jake thought about his answer for a long moment. Because every life matters. Because your buildings and your cities show that your people are smart and organized. Because I can see that your people love each other and want to live. That is enough reason to help. That is enough reason to try. The eyes became very bright. It looked like Keeper might be feeling something very deep and very strong. Over the next days, Jake and Keeper worked together. Jake brought down medical supplies from the ship. Henry Park stayed on the ship and sent information down through the radio. Henry told Jake how to use the medicine. Henry explained to Jake what the medicine would do. Jake and Keeper went to the main healing place in the city. This was where the doctors were treating the sick. The doctors there were tired and sad. They did not have good medicine. They did not know how to stop the plague. Many died in this place every day. Jake showed the doctors what the medicine was. He showed them how to give the medicine to sick people. He used simple words and simple actions so that they could understand. They were quick to learn. They watched Jake carefully, and then they did exactly what he showed them. "This is something we did not have before," one of the doctors said. Her name was Doctor. Her skin was darker blue than Keeper's skin. "You brought us hope. You brought us something that could help us live." "I am here because you deserve to live," Jake said. "All of your people deserve to live. So I am going to teach you everything that you need to know about this medicine." The days turned into weeks. Every day more got the medicine. Every day fewer people died. The infection rate went down slowly at first, then faster. Children started to play in the streets again. Their laughter filled the city for the first time in many weeks. One day, Keeper came to find Jake in the healing place. The Keeper's skin was brighter now. The Keeper looked healthier. The light in their eyes was stronger. "The people wish to know something," Keeper said. "They wish to know why you risked everything to come here. Your council would be very angry with you. You could be punished when you go back to your home, yet you came here anyway. Why do humans value other lives so much?" Jake sat down on a bench made of stone. Keeper sat down next to him. "Where I come from," Jake said, "there is a saying. It says that a person does not become worthless just because other people treat them that way. Your people are not worthless. Your art is real. Your buildings are real. Your love for each other is real. Your lives matter. At least they matter to me. And I think that is what it means to be human. It means caring about someone even when nobody else does." Keeper was quiet for a very long time. Then the Keeper reached out and touched Jake's shoulder. This was a greeting and a sign of respect among the. It meant that Keeper understood. It meant that Keeper was grateful. "You are different from what the council told us humans were like," Keeper said. "The council said humans were driven only by logic and by their own survival. But you have shown us that humans are driven by something else. You are driven by choice. You choose to care even when it is hard." Jake looked out the window at the city. The city was waking up. People were beginning to believe that they might have a future. All of this had happened because one human had decided to break the rules. One human had decided that saving lives was more important than following protocol. And everything was starting to change. 3 weeks had passed since Jake came down to. The medicine he brought was helping many people. The sickness was spreading more slowly, but something was wrong and Dr. Henry Park knew it. Henry sat in the medical lab on the Discovery. He was looking at information that came from the planet below. His face looked dark and worried. He sent a message to Jake on the radio. "Jake, we have a problem," Henry said. His voice was serious and afraid. "The fungus part of the sickness is not responding well to the medicine. It is changing and becoming different. It is becoming harder to kill." Jake was in the healing place when he got the message. He felt cold inside when he heard Henry's words. "How long do we have?" Jake asked. "Maybe 4 weeks, maybe less," Henry said. After that, the medicine will stop working completely. The sickness will spread again, and all the people we have saved will start to die again." Jake closed his eyes. They had come so far. They had saved so many people, but it was not going to be enough. "What do we need?" Jake asked. "The fungus is coming from somewhere," Henry said. "It is not something the created. It is something old, something that was sleeping in the ground. If I can find where it comes from, if I can find living samples of it, maybe I can understand how to kill it properly." Keeper was standing next to Jake when he got this information. The Keeper's blue face became pale. "The fungus comes from the deep ocean," Keeper said. "Very long ago we had scientists who studied such things. They found old spores in the deepest places of the ocean. The spores were sleeping. They were very old, older than our civilization. Then the ground moved. The earthquakes came, and the spores woke up." Jake made a decision. "I have to go to the ocean. I have to get samples of this fungus." "That is not possible," Keeper said. "The ocean is not like other oceans. The water is thick with minerals. It is very acidic. It will burn your skin. The pressure at the deep places is so strong that it would crush your body like it was made of paper. No human could survive such a place." "Then I will have to try," Jake said simply. The next morning, Jake stood on the edge of the ocean. The water was not blue or green like Earth's oceans. It was brown and murky. It looked thick and heavy. It looked dangerous. Engineers had made a diving suit for Jake. They used every strong material they had. They used metal and plastic and special fabrics that could survive in the dangerous water. Jake put on the suit and checked it carefully. "If you go down, you will have maybe 30 minutes before the suit stops working," one of the engineers said. His name was, "Maybe less. The water is not friendly to anything from outside this world." "Then I will be quick," Jake said. Jake entered the water. The moment the water touched the suit, Jake could feel the danger. The water was cold and heavy. It pressed against the suit from all sides. The suit made creaking sounds as the pressure increased. Jake went down and down. The water grew darker. He could see almost nothing. His lights showed him strange shapes and strange plants that had adapted to live in this deadly place. He was at 400 meters when his equipment started to warn him. The suit's material was starting to break down. Small holes were forming. Water was beginning to seep inside. Jake pushed himself down deeper. He had to find the spores. He had to find them now. At 600 meters, Jake saw them. They were growing from the rocks like strange flowers. They looked like crystal formations, but they were living things. These were the ancient spores. These were the things that were killing the... Jake moved toward them as fast as he could. His hands were shaking. The suit was failing. Water was coming in now. He could feel it cold against his skin. He filled the collection containers with samples. His suit gave a loud warning sound. 5 minutes. 5 minutes before complete failure. Jake pushed himself up toward the surface. His legs burned with effort. His lungs burned because he was working so hard. But he moved upward, fighting against the weight of the water and the crush of the pressure. 3 minutes. Jake could see lighter water above him now. He was getting closer to the surface. 2 minutes. His hands were numb from cold. His eyes were starting to close because the water was burning them, but he kept moving up. 1 minute. Jake broke through the surface of the water, gasping and choking. The rescue team pulled him out onto the rocks. They pulled the suit off him, and Jake collapsed onto the ground. He was alive. He was badly hurt. His skin was burned in many places. His eyes hurt. His lungs hurt. But he was alive and he had the samples. Henry Park worked with the samples for several days. Then he called Jake on the radio. Jake was resting in the healing place, recovering from his injuries. "Jake, I think I have it," Henry said. His voice was excited and happy. "I understand the fungus now. I can make a new medicine. It will be much stronger than the first medicine. It should kill both the bacteria and the fungus." How long? Jake asked. 3 weeks, Henry said. In 3 weeks I will have the new medicine ready. Jake looked at Keeper, who was sitting next to him. The Keeper's eyes were bright with hope again. We are going to make it, Jake said. Your people are going to live. Because you risked your life, Keeper said. Because you went into the place where no other species would go. This is what we are learning about humans. You do not only survive, you fight for others, you sacrifice for others. The people saw what Jake did. They saw him come out of the deadly ocean burned and hurt. They saw him willing to die so that they could live, and something changed in them. They stopped thinking of themselves as a weak species that the galaxy had abandoned. They started thinking of themselves as a species worth fighting for. Because one human had shown them that they were worth fighting for, the new medicine was almost ready. Henry Park and the doctors had worked together for 3 weeks. They had created something that could kill both the bacteria and the fungus that was killing the people. But there was a problem. There was not enough of it. Jake sat in the healing place and listened to what Henry was telling him over the radio. The news was bad. We can make enough medicine to help about 6 out of every 10 sick people, Henry said. His voice was sad and tired. But for the other 4 out of every 10, we do not have enough. We do not have time to make more before the sickness gets too strong for any medicine to work. Jake closed his eyes. They had come so far, they had risked everything, but there was still not enough. They were still going to die, thousands of them, maybe millions of them. How much would we need to save everyone? Jake asked. 3 times as much as we have right now, Henry said. But the materials come from deep in the rock. We would need weeks to get enough materials. We do not have weeks. Jake stood up. He walked to the window and looked out at the city. Children were playing in the streets. People were working again. Everyone believed that the new medicine would save them. Everyone believed that they would live. But they were wrong. Half of them were still going to die. Keeper came into the room. The Keeper had learned to read Jake's face now. Keeper could tell when Jake was thinking about something hard and sad. The medicine is not enough, Keeper said. It was not a question, it was a statement. No, Jake said, it is not. Then what will you do? Keeper asked. Jake turned away from the window. He looked at Keeper with something like hope in his eyes. The medicine was made from materials that came from the deep ocean, correct? Jake asked. Yes, you brought the spores, we processed them, we created the medicine from them. And the medicine works on human blood the same way it works on blood? Jake asked. Keeper did not answer right away. The Keeper understood what Jake was asking. The Keeper understood what Jake was thinking about. If you take a dose of this medicine, it could kill you, Keeper said. The medicine is made for bodies. A human body would not know what to do with it. Your immune system would fight it. Your body would reject it. You could die. Or it could work, Jake said. My physiology is not that different from yours. We are both carbon-based. We both have blood. We both have immune systems. The medicine might work on both of us. You are suggesting that you take a full dose of this medicine yourself, Keeper said. Yes, Jake said. If I take the dose, then there is enough medicine for 6 people to get better instead of only 5. If enough people like me do the same thing, then maybe we can save enough doses to help more people. But you are the only human here, Keeper said. How would more humans help? They would not, Jake said. But I would use less medicine than I would use. I am smaller. Maybe my body would need less to fight the sickness off. Maybe I could be the test. And if it works on me, then maybe we can stretch the medicine even further. Keeper's blue face went very pale. You would risk your life for us, even after everything you have done, even after you almost died in the ocean. You would do this. Yes, Jake said simply, because your lives matter, because you are worth it. Doctor prepared the medicine injection. Her hands were shaking as she held the needle. She did not want to inject something that might kill the human who had saved her entire species. Jake sat down on a medical chair. He rolled up his sleeve. He looked at Keeper and smiled. "I think it will work," Jake said. Doctor injected the medicine into Jake's arm. For 3 days, Jake was very sick. His body burned with fever. His muscles hurt. He could not eat. He could not sleep. His body was fighting the medicine. His immune system was attacking something that it did not understand. Keeper did not leave Jake's side during these 3 days. The Keeper sat next to Jake and watched him. The Keeper prayed to whatever gods the believed in. The Keeper asked those gods to let Jake live. On the 4th day, the fever broke. Jake opened his eyes and looked at Keeper. Jake was weak and tired, but he was alive. The medicine had not killed him. It had worked. "You are still here," Jake said to Keeper. "I am here," the Keeper said. Tears were coming from Keeper's bright eyes. "You are still alive. You survived. You risked everything and you survived." The news spread through the city very quickly. The human had taken the dangerous medicine to save medicine for the human had made himself sick so that more of their people could live. The human had shown that he valued lives as much as his own life. They looked at Jake differently after that day. They stopped seeing him as a visitor from outside. They started seeing him as someone who had chosen to be one of them, someone who had chosen their survival over his own safety. "Why do you do this?" another asked Jake the next day. "Why do you care so much? We are strangers to you. We are not part of your family. We are not part of your species." Jake thought about his answer carefully. "Because when I go back to my home, I want to be able to look people in the eye. I want to be able to say that I did something that mattered. I want to be able to say that I saved a whole civilization. But more than that, I want to be able to say that I did it because it was the right thing to do. Not because someone told me to do it. Not because it would make me famous or powerful, but because it was right." They listened to these words carefully, and slowly they began to understand what humanity really was. Humanity was not about being stronger or smarter or having better technology. Humanity was about choosing to care. Humanity was about choosing compassion even when it was hard. And that was something worth saving. 3 months had passed. The medicine had worked. The sickness was no longer killing people. They were getting better every day. Hospitals were closing because people did not need to go to them anymore. Children were playing in every street. Life was coming back to the civilization that the Galactic Council had decided to let die. Jake stood in the medical place and looked at his reflection in a smooth metal panel. His face looked tired. His skin was from the burns he got in the ocean, but his eyes were bright. He had done something that mattered. He had saved an entire species. Keeper came into the room. The Keeper looked strong and healthy now. The light in Keeper's eyes was brighter than Jake had ever seen it. "The people are ready," Keeper said. "We have made our decision." Jake turned away from the metal panel. "Tell me," he said. "You saved our species," Keeper said. "You came to us when everyone else turned away. You risked your life many times. You taught us that compassion and sacrifice are real things. Because of this, we want to learn from you. We want to understand humans better. We want to become part of the larger community of worlds." "That is good," Jake said. "The human worlds would welcome you." "But before you go," Keeper said, "we have chosen 5 of our best people. These 5 people will travel with you on your ship. They will learn human language and human culture. They will study human medicine and human ways of thinking. They will be ambassadors from our world to yours. They will tell your people what you did for us." Jake felt something warm grow in his chest. They wanted to send ambassadors to human space. They wanted to become part of the larger community, all because one human had decided to break the rules. The 5 ambassadors came into the medical place. They were young and smart. They looked at Jake with eyes full of respect and gratitude. They looked at Jake like he was a hero. "You will change the way that humans think about other species," one of the ambassadors said. His name was, "You will show them that helping others is more important than protocol. You will show them that compassion is a strength, not a weakness." That evening, Jake packed his things and prepared to leave. The Discovery would launch the next morning. Jake would go back to human space. He would face the Council for breaking their orders. He did not know what would happen to him. He might lose his job. He might be arrested. But he did not care about that anymore. He had done the right thing. Everything else did not matter. Keeper walked with Jake to the shuttle that would take him up to the Discovery. The Keeper's skin was bright blue in the light of sun. The Keeper looked strong and alive. "I do not know how to thank you," Keeper said. "There are no words big enough. There is no gift valuable enough. You have given us something that we thought we had lost. You have given us hope. You have given us life." Jake reached out and put his hand on Keeper's shoulder. This was a human gesture, but Keeper understood it. The Keeper understood what it meant. "You do not have to thank me," Jake said. "You just have to live. You have to build your civilization again. You have to show the Galactic Council that they were wrong about your people. You have to show them that every species is worth saving. That is thanks enough." Jake climbed into the shuttle. The door closed behind him. The shuttle rose up into the sky. Through the window, Jake could see the city below. He could see Keeper standing on the ground, looking up at him. He could see the streets filled with people who were alive because he had chosen to care. The shuttle broke through the clouds and entered the empty space above. The Discovery was waiting, its lights bright in the darkness of space. The shuttle connected to the Discovery. Jake stepped out into his ship. His crew was waiting for him. Wells came to him immediately. Her face was serious. "Captain, the Galactic Council has sent a message," said. "They are very angry about what you did. They want to arrest you when we reach the Council station. They are calling it a violation of protocol. They are calling it interference with natural development of younger species." Jake nodded. He had expected this. "But something else happened," continued. "Your actions are being talked about on human worlds. People are talking about what you did. People are saying that you were right. They are saying that the Council's rules are wrong. There are people who want to change the protocols. There are people who want humans to help other species instead of just watching them die." Jake felt hope grow inside him. "And said, they are sending messages to all the human worlds. They are telling everyone what you did. They are telling everyone that a human saved their civilization. The ambassadors are coming with us. They will tell the Council everything." The Discovery began to move away from. Behind the ship, the planet grew smaller and smaller until it was just a tiny ball of blue and white in the darkness of space. Jake stood in the window room and looked back at the world he had saved. He thought about what would happen when they reached the Council station. He thought about the Council members who would want to punish him. He thought about the human worlds that were starting to change their minds about helping other species. One person had made a difference. One person had chosen compassion over protocol. One person had shown that the galaxy did not have to be a cold and empty place. In the cargo bay of the Discovery, the 5 ambassadors were settling into their quarters. They were nervous and excited about seeing human worlds for the first time. They were thinking about how they would tell their story. They were thinking about how they would help the Council understand that helping other species was not weakness. It was strength. The galaxy was vast and dark, but Jake had proven that it was also a place where one human could change everything. One human could save a species. One human could choose to care when everyone else turned away. And that, more than anything else, was what made humans special. As the Discovery moved through the darkness of space toward home, Jake thought about the future. He thought about what the Council would say. He thought about what the human worlds would do. He thought about the possibility that his actions might change the rules, that his actions might save not just one species but many species. But most of all, he thought about Keeper standing on the ground looking up at the sky. He thought about the children playing in the streets. He thought about a species that had been abandoned by the galaxy, but had been saved by one human who believed that they mattered. And Jake knew that everything he had done was worth it.